Hey, what is up, YouTube? Kolst here. We are back with the next review. This one is for Hunter. Let's jump right into it. There's a lot of beast synergy in this class. So, first card we have here is Fetch. 2 mana, draw a minion. If it's a beast, draw a spell. I don't know why we're trying to make Fetch happen again. What's going on? But in any case, so, I mean, as an arena card, like, obviously, constructed, you guarantee it. Like, you probably play this with all beasts in your deck, right? But you're gonna have a lot of minions that aren't beasts, so this thing's just not very good, right? 2 mana, draw a minion. If it's draw 2, it's good, but not that good, right? Not good enough to justify not always working, and very likely not working. So unless you're really desperate for a draw, you just don't take it. So I don't know. You can make, because it's draw, like, you still might take it sometimes, but this is probably, in our, we have a pretty hard rating scale, which I explain up here, but like it's probably like a 1 star. It could be like a 1.5, but you probably just don't want to take it. In certain decks, obviously, if the odds are higher, it might be a little better, but yeah, it's definitely worse than 10 Gallon Hat. Next up is Jungle Gym. 2 mana, location with 3 charges. Deal 1 damage to a random enemy. Repeat for each friendly beast. There are some really big enablers for this. Keep in mind, it starts at 1, so if you have just 1 beast, it already triggers twice, so it does something. The problem is you can't really guarantee it's going to do anything good, but you know, you get 3 charges of this. You can use it whenever you want to ping something. You hope it doesn't troll you and go all face when you're trying to kill something, or you hope it goes all face when you want to kill the opponent. It's pretty good. I mean, overall, because it's like 3 charges, you have 2 mana, 3 charges. You honestly don't need it to do that much each time. You need to do something, but it doesn't need to do that much to be worth it, right? It's still probably a good card. We'll explain in a little bit why there are some really big upside, some really good synergies for this. But it's probably still just not that great. You probably pick it for the upside of the synergies, unless you know you're late in the draft, you don't take it. So I don't know. I'm probably gonna rate this, like, without seeing the other cards, you'd say it's like probably too high, but I'd probably say it's like a 4 right now. But we'll show you why it might be that good. Because otherwise, in a normal meta, it would probably be like a maybe a 2 to a 3. But it's probably a 4 based off some synergies we'll talk about in a minute. But next up, Painted Canvasaur. 2 mana, 3/2 beast. Battlecry, give each other friendly beast a random bonus effect. So wasn't there, like, there was a 2 mana 3/2 beast that adapted 1 beast, right? But this is like, instead of adapting where you discover certain effects, this is just you get bonus effects. So again, this has some synergy with some later beast. Yeah, Crackling Razor Maw was the card. There's also the Elemental, yeah. This is probably better than the Elemental, because the Elemental is bad because it was Death Rattle, but this is Battlecry, right? It's just you have to have synergy for this. Sometimes you just play this on 2 as a Bloodfen Raptor, and it's okay, but like, you want to combo this with some of the other things you can potentially use with this. So it's rather reliant. You probably say, I don't know, like, we'll probably just say like this is like a 3-star card. It's just probably not that likely to go off that well. It doesn't actually work with one of the synergy spread beast synergy cards that we're going to talk about in a second. But like, actually it can work if you use up the location with it, but that's hard to do. It's a 3-charge location. I don't know. Obviously there's a lot of upside, but like, you might not get bonus effects that are even relevant. It's probably just not, it's probably good enough that it's like, yeah, it's probably pickable, but like, yeah, I don't know. 3-star might even be too high, actually. I don't know. It's probably like a 2.5, I'll say, because like, there's upside, it's just, it's really hard to pull off, right? So it's probably fine. Next up, we'll go with Patchwork Pals. 2 mana spell. Get all 3 animal companions. They cost 1 less. If you're not familiar with the OG animal companions, it is these guys. This is a pretty good card because, you know, Call the Wild was a card that was 8 mana to get all 3 of these. This is also 8 mana to get all 3 of these if you just play them all. But you have a lot more flexibility with them. That card actually got nerfed to 9 because of how strong it was for a while. It got unnerfed, but it is 8. There's only Huffer. Yeah, this is the way you actually get forced to actually get Huffer. I mean, I only get Leok, but you know. Except my last one with a Huffer was glorious. But anyway, it's good because you can play it like Call of the Wild, but you can also, you know, use whichever ones you want. You don't necessarily want to just play this on 2, but like what you can do is like on turn 6, you could just play like Huffer and Leok if you want to deal 5 damage, for example, right? And then you just have a Misha. Or you can just go like, if you just need Huffer, you can go like Huffer and then Misha or whatever, you know, save the Leok for a big combo turn later. It's just good because like you get a lot of flexibility, right? Like Call of the Wild was, and I think still would be, you would say a good card, but you have a lot of flexibility. There's a lot of things you can do with this, right? You can save some of these beasts for some of these beast combos and stuff. So, I mean, it's got to be good, right? So it's probably just not overwhelmingly powerful enough nowadays to call it like a 5-star card, right? But I think I would say it's a 4. It's just good, right? You'd be pretty happy to have it. You might not want to go too crazy picking like a ton of these, but I think you would pick it pretty often, so go with that. Next up, remote control. 2-mana 1/3 weapon. After hero attacks, summon a 1/1 hound. So this is the 1/1 hound. Quite adorable. There's a mech and a beast, so magnetic synergy in addition to beast synergy. But this would be one of the ways that, for example, with the location stuff, you could actually get more value out of it. But overall, yeah, it's like you get, I mean, a 2-mana 1/3 weapon is pretty bad, right? A 1-mana 1/3 weapon nowadays isn't even that good. You get 3 1/1s. Like, this stuff is always like better than you would think it is, just because these 1/1s are annoying. They push damage sometimes. They can ping stuff off. It's always nice. But yeah, it's a little weird. It's like, is it better than a Desert Spear even? Because like the Desert Spear, them having Rush is pretty valuable, right? I'm almost not sure you would even pick this over a Desert Spear. Because that 1 mana really worth it? The 1 mana discount, is it worth them not having Rush? It might not be. Really might not be. But this thing, you're just supposed to swing it and just get more beasts on board, right? That hopefully stick and stuff. But it doesn't compete with the overfilled 3 slot. Well, the problem is like all these cards cost 2, so it's like now you would actually have an extra mana. Like I think you would actually just rather have Desert Spear, honestly. I mean, Desert Spear is a really good card, right? Although it hasn't aged that particularly well, to be honest. Overall, as a standalone card, I don't know. It's still okay. Like, I just feel like maybe a 3 might even be high. It depends on how contested the weapon slot is. Like, if the weapon slot's really contested, this can't be higher than a 2, honestly. But if you want weapons, if you have beast synergy, if that's somewhat reliable, you would just want this for all of that. So then it would be it would definitely be at least a 3. So it's somewhere around the middle. It's like probably pickable. It's somewhere in the pickable range. It's just can't know exactly whether it's going to be like on the, you know, mid to high end versus like the low end of it. It's definitely pickable, but you'll see. Next up, RC Rampage. 4 mana, epic card. Summon 6 1/1 hounds. Any that can't fit, give the others +1/+1. So yeah, this is the synergy. So you could just summon all of the hounds with the location on board, and then you get to deal 7 damage with that location automatically. That's one big upside for it. Unfortunately, the payoff card is an epic, so that does make it a bit less consistent, right? That you can actually get it in Arena. But I mean, this will be a card that you want. In addition, I mean, Rats of Extraordinary Sight was the other card, right? Where it was a similar payoff, but Rats was slower, right? This would be, if you can make it so this thing, for example, if you can only have like 3 board slots available, that's the other thing, is if you play the weapon, for example, and then you can fill up some of your board slots, maybe you have a discounted Huffer or Leok or something too, then you can actually just get like 3 3/3s for 4 mana, right? Still doesn't actually seem that good, to be honest, but like be reasonable, right? And then you use it with the location. You can see kind of what it's trying to go. It all seems like a little hard to make work, but I mean, You'd probably try, like, it's worth picking this pretty highly just to try to enable all that stuff, right? I would think. So. Oh yeah, before 3/3s. Yeah, 4 3/3s or 3 4/4s or something like that. That would be what you'd be looking at. Yeah, I mean, any of those cases, I mean, that's either of those, it's a lot of stats for 4 mana, right? Ideally, you probably make them smaller so that you can actually be a little safer against AoE, but yeah, I mean, so this is definitely good. Like, you pick it pretty high. I don't know if you would call it like a 5-star card, though. Probably say it's like a 4. Seems reasonable. And yeah, it's also a really big payoff. Well, the thing is that, as I mentioned, like, that thing actually fills up the board, so it might be difficult to actually, like, do it with this immediately. But yeah, you're relying on stuff sticking on board, not getting AoE'd. That's the one thing. But it's like, there's a lot of potential, obviously it can work. Especially against classes, if they can't AoE you well. Next up is Hemet, Foam Marksman. 5 mana 3/6 legendary. After a friendly beast dies, get a random legendary beast from the past. It costs 2 less. I can't imagine legendary beasts from the past are that good on average, to be honest, right? They're probably not that great, actually. But I mean, you might literally get the beast or something. They're probably not that good. I mean, there's definitely good ones, but there's probably a lot of bad ones. So they'll be discounted though. Just another thing where it's like, even the current legendary beasts, well, if you get like the big 10/10 rush, it's pretty good, but yeah, I don't know. So again, like, you probably go for all the beast stuff, right? Like, it's just, would you actually prioritize this over other legendaries? You probably wouldn't, right? Yeah, well, Hydrolodon. Oh yeah, Hydrolodon's entering the past pool, right? Because Sunken City is actually leaving standard, so you could get Hydrolodon actually, but there's a lot of beasts and you're not that likely to get any particular one. Because they're discounted, like, they're pretty much all going to be playable though. So I don't know. It's the thing that makes it really uncomfortable is that you're picking this on pick 1 and you just aren't necessarily going to know if you're really going to have that much payoff. If you get like 1 or 2 hits, I guess it's fine though. It's just, I'm not sure how much you would want to prioritize this as a legendary pick, honestly. But yeah, overall it's like, if this was just a card you could pick, you would probably say it's decent, right? Like, it would be at least like a 2 to 3, maybe even, it'd probably be like a 3-star card. But if you well, this is a legendary beast, you're not just getting random beasts. You'd probably say it's like a 3-star card overall. In a legendary, it's a little hard to pick this though. Like, it's probably a 2 out of 5 as a legendary. You probably just, you pick it over like garbage, right? But it's like, it's a little risky to just even try because it might just be completely dead. Dio Speedio with the Prime sub, appreciate it. That will move on. Next up, Mystery Egg, 5 mana 0/3. Epic with miniaturized Death Rattle. Get a copy of a random beast in your deck. It costs 5 less. So, I mean, it's a 5 mana 0/3, which is gonna be, I mean, there's stuff like Cheat Death and stuff, right? You could trigger this multiple times in theory. That's why it's 5 mana, is because you can actually like chain trigger it. And you also get a 1/1, so this thing actually will trigger itself, because you can actually just play it and then trade it into something, right? I am aware, Stein, yes. That's why we have our rating system, which is difficult, so we actually get to use the full scale. We grade hard in this channel. So the problem with this, though, is that it's especially if you're going for cheap beasts, it's really hard to actually like limit your deck to where this will be consistent or good. And if you're only using this one, I don't know, it's like it seems a little difficult. So it's just a little hard to pull off. Like, at least you're gonna get something, but it's like you might pull a 1-drop, you know? Like, it's just in the right deck maybe, but it's, yeah, no, you probably, it's a little too hard to make work if when you're not actually constructing your deck, right? So there are payoffs though, like this one, which we talk about next, which is Toyrannosaurus, 7 mana 7/6 rush beast. with Death Rattle, deal 5 damage to a random enemy. So it's basically like they took Humongous Owl and they decided let's actually make it like remotely playable, basically. So yeah, it's like it would probably actually be better if it was like split damage, right? It's the same thing as Owl, basically. Is it stronger than Tonk? It might be. It probably is just because it's Rush, right? It is also cuter than Tonk. That's also true. I mean, it's not as good of a meme as Tonk. That's the only problem. But yeah. I mean, it's the same stats as Tonk, basically. It's just Tonk has a better Death Rattle, but this has Rush. So I want to say the Rush makes it just like a little bit better, even though like, I mean, the Death Rattle is a lot worse than Tonk's, honestly. That's a little weird. My instinct though is that just the Rush makes it like a lot more pickable, because Tonk was always really greedy, right? And I think that Rush is worth a lot on this thing. Compared to Druid of the Plains, probably is like a bit worse, right? I would think. Yeah, I don't know. It's probably, like, I mean, it's probably fine. I don't know. I mean, it's like, you'll pick this, right? Like, it's definitely like a 3-star card, probably. Just don't think, it's probably not super valuable. It's probably gonna be overpicked. Like, people will pick it like it's a 4-star card, but it's probably just like a 3-star card. Probably. That's what I would think. It's like fine, right? Like, there's not, you can pick it. It's just, there's only so many big cards you want to take, and it's just like, it's not like the best big card, right? But it's fine. It's just, it's okay. It has some of that big beast synergy, but that's just not going to be reliable. The last card we have here is King Plush. 9 mana, 6/6 charge beast. Charge. Battle cry. Return all minions with less attack than this to their owners' decks. Not hands. Decks. Vanish in Hunter for some reason. King Plush is a good, is a really good name, yeah. And the flavor text, he's so fluffy, you're gonna die. So it's a little weird that you can't, I mean, it vanishes your enemy's board, which is really good. It also can potentially get a lot of taunts out of the way, which is pretty nice. It also removes your own board though, and it also can't sap things that are bigger. I mean, it's got to be better than like, if you're actually taking this over King Crush, like you would take this over King Crush, right? Just because of the upside of that effect, you would think, right? Like, you'd probably have it. I just don't know how good that is. Like, it can be really good, but you move all their stuff from their board, but it's like, how much is it realistically going to do? I think it's probably good. It's just like, it's a 9 mana 6/6. That's fair. I mean, it's comparable to like a Tumbleweed, I guess, right? Because it's kind of fair. You can imagine it's like a slower Tumbleweed, because it's gonna basically do what a Tumbleweed does to the board, and then you get a charge. Yeah, it's like you pay 2 extra mana, but you get charge, but that makes it slower. You want it in an aggressive deck. It's also like an aggressive Tumbleweed. It's probably pretty good, huh? People will not expect it. That's also true. It can be buffed. Well, yeah, there are some hand buffs in Hunter, not a lot though. But yeah, it's also true. It's got to be good, yeah. I don't know that it's just it can't be amazing. It's usually good though. The way a lot of people play Hunter, it actually would be really good though. Lately, it's hard to even play that many giant things. Like, my hesitation is really just that's 9 mana. It's like, it's kind of slow, but it is funny how many big taunts, like the Lifesteal Taunt Dragon and stuff, like they actually have kind of low attack. So it's like, it can be really useful at. I think it's good. It's just, I don't think I'm willing to give it like a 5-star rating though. How often does Hunter get to 9? Unfortunately, a lot, because a lot of classes just live now. I'd probably just give it like a 4 though. I'm not sure how I should actually rate legendaries, because it's like if it was a non-legendary, I'd probably rate it a 5, right? But it's like as a legendary, it's like there's better legendaries still. I think we could give it 5 just for cuteness. It's true, but I'm not sure. With that, let me know what you guys think on YouTube. Appreciate you guys hanging out. We'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.